Welcome back to Nelly Maths Concept. If you are new to this channel, this is a mathematics channel. My name is Nelson. Today, we are going to continue our discussion on quadratic equations. We have actually covered a lot of topics on quadratic equations. Today, we are going to be looking at the formation of quadratic equations with given roots. This is going to be our area of concern today, and I believe you are going to enjoy this lesson. Okay, let's proceed, guys. Let's look at question 1. Question 1 says, find the quadratic equation whose roots are minus 8 and 5. This is why 2000. Here are the options. Alright, guys, let's quickly look at the solution. We are given that the roots of a quadratic equation, which I don't know now, which can be any of these options, okay? The root of the quadratic equations are minus 8 and 5. So our aim is to use this root to find that particular quadratic equation. This is just what we are discussing today. And of course, this method is what we all know, okay? Whereby we change the sign of the roots given to us. So we have x plus 8 multiplying x minus 5, then we equal to 0. So if you expand this bracket, we are getting x squared minus 5x plus 8x minus 40 equal to 0, and minus 5x plus 8x returns plus 3x. So we have x squared plus 3x minus 40 equal to 0. And this is option D. So option D is the correct answer to this particular question. But guys, I have another method to approach this particular question. So instead of using this approach, you can as well use this particular formula. X squared minus sx plus p equal to 0, where s is the sum of the given roots, okay, and p is the product of the given root. With this formula, you can find that particular quadratic equation. I like this formula and I apply it very often. So looking at the question given to us, s is what? Minus 8 plus 5, okay? And p is what? Minus 8 times 5. So given that the roots of this particular quadratic equations are minus 8 and 5, the quadratic equation is going to be x squared minus x plus p equal to 0. Substitute for s and p in the formula and we are good to go. So x squared plus 3x minus 40 equal to 0 is the quadratic equation. Using this formula, x squared minus ss plus p equal to 0. You can pause this video and write down this formula. It is very, very handy. Alright, let's look at the second question, and let me give a disclaimer here. Henceforth, we shall be applying this formula. Okay, let's proceed. Let's look at question 2. Find the equation whose roots are 3 over 4 and minus 4. This is y 250, and here are the options. Okay, let's look at the solution. We recall our formula: x squared minus sx plus p equal to 0. Our s is what? Sum of the given root, which is 3 over 4 plus minus 4, which is what? Minus 13 over 4. And our p is what? The product of the given root, which is 3 over 4 times minus 4, which returns minus 3. So we just substitute for s and p in the given formula and we are good to go. So we have x squared plus 13 over 4x minus 3 equal to 0. We'll find the LCM of the left hand side, then we cross multiply. So we have 4x squared plus 13x minus 12 all over 4. So when we cross multiply, we'll have 4x squared plus 13x minus 12 equal to 0. And the correct option to this question is option A, 4x squared plus 13x minus 12 equal to 0. As you can see, it is quite easier using this formula. Okay, let's look at the third question today. The sum of the roots of a quadratic equation is 5 over 2 and the product of its roots is 4. The quadratic equation is dash. Here are the options. This is JAM 1981. Okay guys, let's look at the solution. Already we are given that S is what? 5 over 2 and P is what? 4. Alright? So what we have to do here is just to plug in, okay, to substitute for S and P respectively in this fantastic formula. Then we are going to go. So we have x squared minus 5 over 2x plus 4 equal to 0. So find the LCM of the left hand side, that is 2 times x squared minus 5x plus 2 times 4 all over 2 equal to 0. So we cross multiply, we have 2x squared minus 5x plus 8 equal to 0. And the correct option to this question is option B. Yes, that's the correct option. So it is very, very simple. Let's look at the next question. Question 4. The quadratic equation whose roots are 1 minus root 13 and 1 plus root 13 is dash. Here are the options, and this is from JAM 1984. Okay, let's look at the solution. X squared minus sx plus p equal to 0 is the quadratic equation, where s is the sum of the given roots, okay, which is 1 minus root 13 plus 1 plus root 13, and that returns 2, and p is the product of the roots, which is 1 minus root 13 times 1 plus root 13, and that returns minus 12. You can pause the video and do the arithmetic. You will surely get 2 and minus 12 respectively. So the next thing to do here is to plug in. We substitute for s and p, and that gives us x squared minus 2s minus 12 equal to 0. And this is just the answer to this particular question. It's very, very simple, as you know. And the correct option is option D. Question 5. Which of these quadratic equations is the above graph representing? This is JAM 2013. As you can see, guys, this is a U-shaped curve which suggests a positive graph. Okay, so it means the coefficient of x squared is positive. Okay, so we have positive ax squared, okay, then plus bs plus c equal to 0. All right, I believe you know that the root of a quadratic function or graph is also known as the zeros of the function, okay? The root of a particular quadratic function are the values of x for which y is 0. So looking at this graph, you can see that the roots are minus 1 and 2, okay? They are the x-intercept, okay? So as you can see, this curve touches x-axis at minus 1 and also at plus 2. So these are the roots of the function. And as you can see, when s is minus 1, y is what? 0. Also, when s is 2, y is what? 0. Alright, since we have gotten the root of this quadratic function, we just have to proceed to apply our formula, which is y equal to x squared minus sx plus p. Of course, we know that ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0 is always a function of y. So we can trivially put y here, okay? So what is s? S is what? Sum of the roots, okay? Which is minus 1 plus 2, and that will give us what? 1. And what is P? P is what? The product of the root, which is minus 1 times 2, and that gives us minus 2. So we are left to substitute for S and P, and that gives us y equal to x squared minus x minus 2. Okay, our s is 1. 1 times x is x. You maintain the negative sign, and p is what? Minus 2. So this is the correct answer to this question, and the correct option is option B, x squared minus x minus 2. This is the correct option to this JAM 2013 question. Okay, I think it is very, very simple. So if you see this kind of question, just sum the root, multiply the root, then apply this formula, plug in, and you are good to go. All right, guys, let's look at the last question for today. We are given a quadratic graph again. This is from JAM 2009. Okay, this is an N-shaped curve. We are asked to find the quadratic equation whose graph is represented. Here are the options. All right, join me. Let us study this graph together. As you can see, guys, this curve is N-shaped. It's a frowning curve. We call it a negative graph. So it means that the coefficient of x squared is negative, all right? So that a, we have ax squared plus bs plus c equal to 0 as the general form of a quadratic equation. So it means a, that a is negative, all right? So with what I've just said, option A can never be the answer. Option B is not the graph represented. So by elimination method, we have eliminated options A and B. So we are left with options C and D. So if this is all you know about this particular function, it means you have 50% chance of getting the correct answer. Okay, we are still going to proceed. So the next thing to look at is the root, okay? The root of every quadratic function are the zeros of the function. There are the respective values of x for which y is 0. So the roots are -2 and 1 over 4, okay? There are the x-intercepts, all right? So the roots are -2 and 1 over 4. All right, having made this clarification, let's look at the solution. Okay, before I give you the formula, you might be asking, what about this y-intercept? Yes, the y-intercept is the c. We have ax squared plus bs plus c equal to 0. So that c is y-intercept. That is the constant. It means the value of y when s is 0. So what this means is this: whatever quadratic equation that is being represented in this graph must have 2 as its constant. All right. So don't forget, the roots are -2 and 1 over 4. So let's recall the formula: x squared minus sx plus p. So our s is -2 plus 1 over 4, and p is -2 times 1 over 4. Okay, and that gives us x squared plus 7 over 4x minus half equal to 0. So the next thing is to find the LCM of the left hand side. As you can see, the LCM is what? 4. So we have 4x squared plus 7x minus 2 all over 4 equal to 0. When we cross multiply, we have 4x squared plus 7x minus 2 equal to 0. Are we going to stop here? No, we are certainly not going to stop here, because as at this point, 4x squared plus 7x minus 2 equal to 0 can never produce an N-shaped curve. Okay, it will only produce a U-shaped curve, a smiling curve. So what do? We have to divide both sides by -1. If that happens, we'll have y equal to 2 minus 7x minus 4x squared. As you can see, the coefficient of x squared is negative, which agrees with the curve we have at hand. So the correct option to this question is option D. Yes, y equal to 2 minus 7x minus 4x squared. Yes, that's the correct option to this question. I believe you have learned a lot in today's class. Solve this one question for me. Drop the answer in the comment section. I will go through and give you a feedback. Let's call it a day here, guys. Thank you so much for your time. Before you go, give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to this beautiful channel. See you next time.